So I'm going to call this meeting to order. For the record, today is Thursday, June 3rd, 2021. This is a special joint meeting of the City Council and the Board of Finance. Attending in person, I have Councilwoman Wagner, Councilman Cabanero, Councilman Oliver, Councilman Rubino. Attending via Zoom, I have Councilwoman Ruette. And I don't see Councilman Waldron. I know there's a THS scholarship or an awards banquet this evening. Yeah. So attending in person for Board of Finance, I have Board Member Bayes, Board Member Pesky, Board Member Wright, and attending via Zoom is Board Member Lance Boynton and Christopher Anderson. So I guess before we begin this meeting, could we all stand and pledge the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So, as you know, we're working on this budget at a slower pace. We're under the executive order approved or authorized extension. So the City Council has gone through a number of the departments and done a tentative approval of those departments. However, to clean up the City Council's work, I'd first like to walk through and get approval of the various department budgets this evening, and then we can enter into the joint conversation before we adjourn and open up the public hearing. So on the agenda that I handed out and that I emailed to the members hot off the press, if I could just walk through those departments that I need the council to approve, then we can approve the bottom line request and begin the conversation with the Board of Finance. So starting with the boards and agencies, actually with assessor's office, I apologize. So on the 20th, we did a tentative approval of the assessor's budget at $404,992. That was an error on my part. That was last year's appropriation. So I do need approval of the assessor's budget at $423,605. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank you. So I have Councilman Rubino, Councilman Oliver. Are there questions on this? Again, it's just a correction where I picked up the 2021 budget amount instead of the requested. Hearing no questions, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so moving into the boards and agencies, in this department, we are looking at an adjustment of $5,000, an additional reduction in line item 5517, which was an appropriation for the Torrington Library. So this new amount that I need approved is $311,076. Do I have a motion?
Where is this?
Where is this?
I'm sorry, if you don't have the detail, you don't have your budget detail from the last meeting. So the sheet, are you looking at this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So all one out at 0010003.
Correct.
Under boards and agencies. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
So this was TA'd on the 20th of February. February. That's sort of about how my week has been going. Of May, we TA'd this. However, with an additional adjustment of $5,000, we are now at $311,067. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Oliver, Councilman Oliver, and Councilwoman Wagner. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so, and line item 00100005, which is city real estate. I am looking for approval. I'm looking for a motion to approve this budget in the sum of $1,898,385.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Rubino.
Second.
Second, Councilman Oliver. Questions on this department budget? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Continuing down this column, in Department 6, General Fund, City and Town Clerk. You will recall this is the department that we tabled because we were looking for further amendments to the budget. So this evening, I'm looking for a motion to approve this budget and a sum of $663,842.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner,
A second.
and seconded by Councilman Rubino. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Jumping down to Department 18, General Fund, Information Technology. This is another department that we had TA'd on the 20th. However, additional adjustments in that department in the salary line item of $10,000. I need to have you update the approval. So I'm looking for a motion to approve this department at $1,062,170.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Oliver, and seconded by Councilman Rubino. Are there questions on this? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Department 19, General Fund, Public Safety Miscellaneous. Actually, that one we can skip. That one was TA'd at the proper amount. Department 20, General Fund, Emergency Management. These were the departments, the public safety departments, which were approved by the Board of Safety last night. So I'm looking for the council to approve this budget in the sum of $35,800.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Oliver. Questions?
Can we pair these all up? Is that
Do you want to do
Do you have a problem if we pair up all the public safety?
all public safety,
Listen to
which
it
were reviewed last
No,
night?
I'm fine.
No, I
I'll
don't
do
have a
it.
problem.
All right.
Fine.
All right, in that case, then we'd be looking at,
Take it all the way down to 21.
so budget departments 20 through 23.
23.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, then, new to the council is Department 25, which is the Public Works Director. These are the budgets that the Budget Subcommittee reviewed on the 24th with Ray Drew. So Department 25, I'm looking for approval at $177,855.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Councilwoman Wagner, seconded by Councilman Rubino. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 26 in the sum of $210,424.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner
Second.
and Councilman Oliver. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Department 27, Engineering, in the sum of $724,544.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second.
So motion made by Councilman Rubino, seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Department 29, which is our landfill. This department budget stands at $1,569,800.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. So motion made and seconded. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Department 30, sanitary sewers and streetlights. Department budget stands at $179,000. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ruette.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Oliver. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Department 31, Public Works. This is our street department, street and parks. Department total stands at $6,012,012. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you, Councilman Rubino. Councilwoman Wagner. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Department 35, Health, stands at $3,013,101. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner, seconded by Councilman Oliver. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Department 38 is our Recreation Department. This department budget stands at $485,652. Do I have a motion
move
to
it.
approve? Thank you, Councilwoman Witt. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. And then Department 49, which is our city-wide. Even though this was TA'd, there was an additional adjustment in this department. We had to increase it for the equipment maintenance chargeback, and it was increased by $31,099. So the total budget is $459,030. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Oliver, seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the other departments in this, on this sheet have all been, they were all TA'd on May 20th. So at this point, what the council has approved both tentatively and this evening brings the total request for city department budgets to $60,836,431. Do I have a motion to approve the total budget?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner, and seconded by Councilman Oliver. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Right. So at this point, it's now yours, Board of Finance. So based on these reviews, I wanted to open the floor up for discussion between the boards. I wasn't sure if there's anything with the Board of Finance. I know Lorraine and Chris were on the budget subcommittees that went through all of these budgets. I wasn't sure if there was anything that you wanted to add or questions you have.
I think the only thing is I can't believe we're still saying it's too early in the process to really know where we're at, but I know that $3.8 million is, or 3.816 is quite an increase percentage wise and dollars wise. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there's going to be some slicing back there. Obviously it's too early to say where, but just something that maybe the council should be aware of that's going to have to happen. The recommendation that came out of the budget subcommittee, if we're going to try to meet that recommendation, there's going to have to be some cuts in there. So I think it's just something that everybody should be aware of. I don't know if Pesky has anything.
I'm always the one that says it's too many, the people,
Mhm.
and they cost us too much or we have to have fewer of them. But there are some very important additions in here. The assistant chief, we put that back 6 months into the fiscal year. It would take that long to to find someone anyway, so that was a way. And the extra hours for recycling coordinator, those were felt very important to the subcommittee.
Yeah.
The facilities manager, clearly, in order to get a real handle on the very important, expensive facilities that we have in the city to maintain them properly on a schedule. That I always felt was something that was very important from my Board of Ed days. Somebody managing the facilities and keeping track of. And then the money for the animal shelter. We know we're hoping to be able to get some money from the federal government to head towards that project. But it's something that has to be done, where the city has been given a lot of leeway by the state on that. And and now if the referendum wasn't enough money when we did it, and now with building costs having gone through the roof, putting that extra $1 million in there is important.
I think one of the things we discussed as well in budget subcommittee is the importance of the public safety section of this budget. It's really crucial, especially with state legislation mandating things with the police accountability bill, as well as increased police and fire needs, the increase of the volunteer fire departments are things that we're going to look at as, and that we made clear were things that have to pretty much should stay where they're at right now. I mean, these budgets were cut back significantly throughout that process already. So it's something that, it's my hope, and I think most of the budget subcommittee, that those public safety items are properly funded. So
I totally agree with you. And I know that both chiefs worked really diligently. We asked them to come back with cuts, and then we asked them to come back with more cuts, and they worked really hard to pull something together. And I would not like to see anything cut from there. I mean, there are already manpower shortages on both sides. The same with the recycling coordinator. We're not going to be saving money on trash removal anytime soon. It's going to increase, if anything.
Right.
So I think having someone who is focused on developing ways for us to move forward with education of the residents and finding new avenues. And again, as you said, the accountability bill, that's really important. And I don't know where we can cut, but though I agree with you on those, you and Lorraine on those areas. I don't want to see those cut.
And I think it should be recognized, and the council should know that in that budget subcommittee process, just exempt for the police department budget, that police accountability bill is expected to cost us $320,000, and the chief's overall increase of $346,000. Right. So that means he went back into his operating and capital budgets to bring that basically to the only increase being the assistant deputy chief position and those accountability bill parameters. So, just to give the council some kind of idea of what happened in there and where the committee was at, but that's it. So thank you.
I appreciate that. The big question, and when we talk about what we don't want to cut, is what are the revenues going to be? And the state legislature ends its session on June 9th. The Board of Finance is meeting for determination of the mill rate is the 15th. I've got my fingers crossed that on June 9th, they'll adjourn their session with an approved budget, but there is a possibility that won't be the case. So there may be some measure of a leap of faith that we have to make with regard to the tiered pilot program, which is $750,000, the distressed municipalities funding, which is $3 million. But even calculating those revenues as if we're getting them, there is still roughly $4 million of cuts that we would have to realize to get to a zero mill rate. And that's the reality we're at right now. So
And
We
also,
dug ourselves a hole.
we also don't have any information on the American Rescue Plan.
No, and I did attend a webinar today where a member from the National League of Cities was sharing with us some guidance. It's looking less, less hopeful that, the $10,750,000 that's coming to the city. And I'm not sure with the Board of Education, is it about $6 million going to the board? It is down to 5. Okay. So, and those strings come to that. It's all tied to revenue losses on the city side. So I still have a lot of work to do to figure out what all of those are. I've just spoke with the board chair and business director to maybe try to sit down together before the 15th so that we could look at what that American Rescue Plan looks like, see where we can focus allowable expenses, and then factor that into what we bring back to the Board of Finance. So if there are no other questions, comments, concerns,
There's always
I'm up all
concern.
night. You can call me.
He's always concerned, but we're on your side. So
Yeah, no, I know it. I think we're all in the,
yeah.
we all are feeling the same pinch on all of this. So if there are no other questions, then I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting so we can open the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Board Member Bayes. Do I have a second? By Councilwoman Wagner. Questions before I call it? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this motion carries. So at this point, we're going to move right into our public hearing. It is 6:52 p.m. This is a public hearing to solicit citizen input regarding the proposed city budget for the fiscal period from July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. Before I open for public comment, is there a public notice we should read into the record? Carol has it. The problem with everyone being behind me, I don't know who's in the room.
You need rearview mirrors.
I know.
Notice is hereby given that the Board of Councilmen and the Board of Finance of the City of Torrington will conduct a public hearing on Thursday, June 3rd, 2021, immediately following a special joint meeting, which starts at 6:30 p.m. in the City Hall Auditorium, 140 Main Street, Torrington, Connecticut, to solicit citizen input regarding the proposed city budget for the fiscal period from July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. Anyone interested in attending the public hearing may do so in person or by Zoom. Members of the public who choose to attend in person will be granted up to 3 minutes to present their comments. The public is also invited to submit their comments in writing to the city clerk's office. Written comments that are sent electronically to city_clerk@torringtonct.org or by mail to the city clerk's office, 140 Main Street, Torrington, Connecticut, will be forwarded to the Board of Councilmen for their review and consideration in advance of the public hearing. Instructions for participating by phone or online are available on the city website. All interested parties are invited to attend and be heard. Copies of the proposed budget will be available in the offices of the city comptroller and the city clerk prior to the hearing, dated at Torrington, Connecticut, this 27th day of May, 2021. Carol Anderson, city clerk.
Thank you. Right, so at this point, I would call upon the public if there's anybody from the public that wishes to address the board. Okay, you're on.
Good evening, Board of Finance and City Council members. My name is David Macklis. I'm the Chief of the Drakeville Volunteer Fire Department. I feel like we've had this conversation before, but I'm going to do it again anyway. The budget this year that you guys have all been forwarded to, you guys approved tonight for the volunteers is an encouraging step forward in my mind. It is in the right direction. Unfortunately, we still have in my mind, we have a long way to go. This budget here, including from what the city's going to be giving the volunteers and what we do for fundraising, keeps us at a, hey, we can survive. We're still going out and trying to get grants. The chief has been absolutely fantastic with including us in grants and basically writing the grants for us. So that's a good thing. Drakeville's trying to get our own grants as well. We put one in for the Leary Foundation to get gear, things like that. But we have a 1989 engine. That's our first due engine. NFPA says 20 years. We're on 30. It says you can get, NFPA says after 20 years, you can refurbish it and get another 10 years out of it. We're on 32. Our newest apparatus for the volunteers in the city is the tanker, 2011. That's already 10 years old. This year, unfortunately, we did have a major issue with it where we had a cracked exhaust pipe that, unbeknownst to us, was a known problem from International, and it melted all of the wires, and it cost over $10,000 to get it fixed. We're lucky that the insurance was able to pay most of that, and the city and the chief, with the chief and the mayor's help, was able to pick up the rest of it. And then we also needed tires for the tanker, because every 7 years that needs to be replaced. This next coming year, we have engine 35, which is our engine, 1989 engine, needs tires on it. So these, like I said, we're moving in the right direction, and I do thank you for it. But we do have a long way to go to be able to get us so that we are moving forward and actually building upon what we have. So like I said, I do thank you. It is a very important task, I think, that the volunteers have in the city. And we do support the paid department a lot. And, we try to do our best for the citizens of this community. So again, thank you very much. If there's any questions or comments, you're more than welcome to contact me. Mayor and the chief has my contact information. Feel free. If anyone wants to come up and see our departments or see what we do or talk to us, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Is there anyone else from the public? Board of Ed, public, treasurer? All right, then I'll do the official public hearing stuff. I'll call it 3 times. Is there anyone else from the public wishing to address the boards? 3rd time, anyone from the public wishing to address the boards? Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to close this public hearing. I will declare the public hearing closed. Public hearing is closed. That's it. I guess we're adjourned. Yeah. See you on the 15th. See you on the 7th.
I was just going to say this.